Hi, good evening. This is your friend Han again, and it is great to see you tonight. And tonight I am very, very excited because tonight's interview is going to be extremely special, and you do want to pay attention. And first and foremost, I would like to personally thank you for your continued friendship and support. Without you, I wouldn't be doing what I do right now and doing the interview stuff and give you absolutely the best price on product and also bonuses as well. And tonight is special because I rarely get an interview with someone like this, and who is basically went from nothing, living in welfare, to able to sell $1.2 million of his business, and was rated the top entrepreneur in his city. And I'm actually let him talk about in the interview, go more detail about it. He was able to generate $2 million in revenue, then sold it, the company. And wouldn't you like to kind of talk to someone like this and really pick at their brain, say, hey, how did you do it? How as an entrepreneur, I mean, when I hear a story like this, I get extremely excited to see how these people, went from nothing and to up here, right? So I finally get the opportunity to interview Trent, who is the product creator. By the way, the name of the product is called the MobiLead Method. Okay, you can see the e-cover I just made over here, and you're gonna learn a tremendous thing about what is the right thing to do. I asked him, what is the top 3 tips you should give to someone who want to achieve a level of success you already have, and he showed you. So pay attention, guys. This is a gold mine. I mean, normally when you have to talk to someone like this, it's probably going to cost you a lot of mastermind, go to seminars and, 20,000 a pop, So this time I'm able to get him to a short interview to kind of pick on his mindset. But most importantly, also talk about how to really marketing with the mobile marketing. Okay, I know I hear constantly where everyone just hate cold calling and scared of cold calling, which I totally understand. If you're not a professional and trained salesperson, you're gonna be scared doing that. But this guy also gonna share the exact secret. He generating 10,000 buyer leads without making a single phone call. In fact, by the time he calls, everybody, I love to hear from him. So when you want to learn what the inside secret is, well, watch the interview. Okay, so this is your friend Han. Until next time, enjoy the interview, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers. Hi, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your friend Han again, and it is great to see you here this afternoon. And today I'm very excited to introduce to you a gentleman named Trent, and he is one of the most successful entrepreneur that I have ever interviewed or going to interview. And he's going to tell you his unique story in the next couple minutes. And he's going to teach you how to really become very successful offline marketer, specifically target at a mobile market. So get your pen and paper ready, take lots of notes, get ready to take lots of notes. And at the end of this interview, he's going to introduce a exclusive I would say offer, or I don't know if it's a warrior offer or something, but that he's going to offer in the next days that he's currently used to generate lots of success to his business right now. So I'm very excited to share that with you as well. Before we get into the detailed interviews, let's kind of learn how who Trent is and how he is an entrepreneur or internet marketing career, but most importantly, what exactly did he do to achieve a level of success he has today? So Trent, could you kind of like share your unique entrepreneur and internet marketing story with us today?
Han, I'd be happy to, and thank you very much for making some time to have me on your show. Do you want me to start with the conclusion of how well it all turned out, or do you want me to start with how horrible it was in the beginning?
Let's start with some positive. Let's start with the results. I think
Sure.
it's going to be blown away.
All right, so we'll give you the backstory in a minute, but the conclusion was I ended up building in 2007, I was fortunate to be named as one of the top 40 under 40 business people in the city of Vancouver, British Columbia. That same year and the next year, my company, Duran Systems, was ranked as one of the Profit 100 fastest growing companies in Canada. And that was a wonderful accomplishment. Really enjoyed the recognition and the press that came with that. And as a result of that exposure, I ended up selling my company for $1.2 million, which was more money than I'd ever seen in my entire life, in the fall of 2008. So that's the happy ending. But there was a lot of skid marks along the way to get there. That's for sure.
Right. So let's talk about like how did you get started, and you have a very, very interesting story here. So let's kind of hear about it.
Sure. So just a quick side note about myself. I didn't go to college. I didn't grow up with a family with money. As a matter of fact, in middle school, we lived in a welfare apartment. So I did not come from the successful money mindset. I just decided to study people who were successful, and that started to change my thinking.
Right.
So I had a job that was going pretty well. I was in sales and making good commissions, but I always wanted to have my own business. So I quit my job and sold my house. And the first business that I tried to start was a horrible failure. I lost almost all of my money. And so I was in this position where I was like, wow, I need to either get another job or I need to start a business that doesn't take much money to get started.
Right.
And so I decided to go with the second one, and that ultimately became this success story that I just finished telling you. And really, I didn't know much about business at the time, and this was back in 2001.
Uh-huh.
And so back then I just started calling small businesses to offer them my service. It was not any more complicated. Like literally one day, just sat down and started making these calls. And in our very first month, made $10,000. Now, that was a huge surprise to me that I could I'd been in sales, so I kind of understood this. You could call people and they would say, if you called enough, they would say yes.
Right.
But that was the beginning of a very exciting journey. The first 6 months after that, we got more and more customers, but we didn't really figure out what kind of business we were building and what was making us unique and what was really compelling until about the 6-month mark. And that lesson came about as a result of nearly losing to a much bigger competitor than we were.
Oh, wow.
But we didn't want to give up, and we were very persistent with the customer, and ultimately we used just rapport. And we had to have a good offering, and we were smart, but we were able to get that customer, and that kind of really just opened a huge door for us. At that point, we started to charge customers monthly fees instead of hourly charges to do what we were doing, and we just kind of took off after that. And so sometimes success doesn't show up right away. Sometimes you have to plug away and dig around and scratch in the dirt, and if you're willing to do that, I can promise you eventually will find a problem that people are willing to pay you very well to solve for them.
Exactly. So what was the one thing kept you going that persevere to keep going at the time when you could just walk away from the whole thing and say, hey, this thing doesn't work?
Honestly, to me, if I was going to give up, everyone was going to be able to laugh at me.
Okay.
I didn't want them to laugh at me because they all thought I was, you're quitting your job, you're crazy, blah, 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 all that crap that people tell you. And I thought, if I give up, they win. And I just have egg on my face. And I was not willing to ever let that happen. And that's been probably the number one thing that's driven me in any business I've ever done since then, is I don't ever want to give the other people an opportunity to say, ha, 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 he was wrong or didn't know what he was doing. And they might get to say it in the short term every now and again because, you fall down, you make mistakes.
Exactly.
But overall, if you persevere, you're the one that gets to have the last laugh. And I guess that motivates me.
That's awesome. Like, if you had to give 3 tips to anyone who want to, achieve a level of success and have, build $1 million company and sell it, what would be that 3 tips
Sure.
to people, my people?
Tip number 1, and it's going to sound too simple, but I'm sorry, but it's just start. And people go, but I don't know what to do to just start. And so the very first part of just starting, and I guess we'll call this tip number 2,
okay,
is knowing your customer. So people don't say, well, they say, well, what do you mean by knowing your customer? In my case back then, I just went and talked to people. I didn't even necessarily try to sell them stuff initially. I just asked them questions. You know, what's the problem with technology in your business? What's inefficient? What keeps you awake at night? What causes you grief? Conversations don't cost anything to have. You can, now it's so much easier because you don't necessarily have to call people. You can email them. You can go into LinkedIn groups. You can go to discussion forums and see the questions people are asking. But step number 2 is you really have to know your customer and know the problems that they have. And then step number 3 is figure out which of the people that you studied would be willing to pay to make that problem go away, and then create some kind of product or service and go and get the money. And now you're in business. And once I in other talks and interviews and videos I've done, like I've got this one video on YouTube that gets watched like 3,000 times a day.
Oh, wow.
And the video basically is about how to start a business with no money. And I say the best way to succeed in business is you need to be in business. You cannot succeed from the sidelines. You cannot succeed by reading books. The only way that you can succeed is to go and say, be my customer, pay me money, and I'll solve your problem. And over time, you will get your niche figured out and your solution and your product. And it will be different maybe than you thought of initially. But if you don't ever get started, you'll never find what was your sweet spot. And that's so many people that get hung up. They get paralyzed by, they want to find the perfect idea before they start.
Don't exist.
There is no perfect idea.
Exist.
They do not exist. Absolutely not.
You just got to kind of do it, and you figure out along the way, and that's just how it works.
And if it doesn't work, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and do it again. Which is why it's very important to pick a business like the one that I picked, and like I have this course that you mentioned called the MobiLead Method. You don't need to spend a whole bunch of money to start. You just need to be willing to use email and communicate with people. Well, that only takes just a little bit of your time. And if you're not willing to do that, well, then I would say you should just go watch TV and keep your job.
Right. So let's talk about the importance of mobile marketing right now. I noticed that you have a video said that mobile marketing is so huge, and it's a huge market out there right now. There's so much demand for the servers that a lot of people doesn't even know how to do it. So can you kind of quickly talk about the mobile marketing? What's the trending right now?
Sure. I don't think it's any great surprise to anyone, and I'm just trying to pull up a presentation here on my laptop. That's why I'm looking away. I don't think it's any great surprise to anyone that accessing the internet on mobile devices, the popularity of that is going up a lot.
Right.
More people using iPads, more people using smartphones. So what that has some very serious ramifications for local business owners, because there's lots and lots of businesses that most of their customers are in like a little circle around wherever they are on a map. And a lot of times I do this all the time. I'm out driving around and I think, I want to find like a jewelry store or a restaurant or this or a that. I just go to, like Google Maps and I punch it in and then I see where it is and then I go to their website because I'm checking them out like anybody would check somebody out. So if you don't have a website that displays in an optimized fashion for a mobile device, that person's just going to go to the next restaurant or the next mechanic or the next whomever because they're looking for information first before they're going to come and see you or make a purchase decision. So first impression, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So if your website doesn't display, like if you have Flash, for example, it won't display at all. But if you're not using a responsive theme on your site, it's going to look like crap, and they have to like shrink it all down and try and use their fingers to slide. Like it's horrible. It's a horrible experience. And many people, of course, doing this while they're driving their car, and maybe all they're doing is looking for your phone number. So you need to make it as easy as possible, and that's why there's such a massive opportunity. Is because the thing about marketing is you can very easily see how good or how bad a small business is at marketing just by going to visit their website. So you know that if their website sucks, more than likely all of their marketing sucks. They probably aren't building an email list. They're probably not doing email marketing. They probably don't have marketing automation. They're probably not blogging.
Yeah.
So from someone that wants to sell stuff and make money, that is a mountain of opportunity. I mean, you get your foot in the door by saying, I'll fix your website for you for $500 or whatever you want to charge them.
Right.
But now you're this trusted advisor. And now they're going to say, well, how else could you help me? Or you're going to say, how else could I help you? And there's so much more opportunities. Back when I had my business that got to a couple $1 million a year, our foot in the door, we would go do this technology assessment. So you could very easily do a marketing assessment. And we would charge people like, I don't know, $1,000, $1,500 to do this, which they would pay. It wasn't that hard to sell, but they were essentially paying us to go, because with technology, you would like have to get in and like actually dig around because it's not visible like marketing is. With marketing, you could do this for next to nothing,
right?
Especially if you created like a template to do the report. And you would be able to say, well, this sucks and this sucks and this sucks and this sucks. And now you have this conversation around all of the things that are causing problems or inefficiency in their business. And that's all opportunity for you to generate revenue.
Yeah, I think a lot of small business, they are professionally, trained in their field. They're expert at it. Like a plumber would be good at plumbing, a lawyer would be law practice. But they're not trained to be a marketer. They have no idea when it comes to marketing, and that's a huge opportunity there.
It is a very big opportunity, yes. And you're right. Most people are experts in their specific profession.
Yeah.
And they naively think that, if I'm just like a really good plumber, I won't have to be good at marketing.
Exactly. And
not true.
A good lawyer that you don't need marketing, but
yeah, not true.
Difference. Yeah.
No.
And what is the I guess the number one fear from the people I'm talking to when it comes to offline marketing is obviously picking that phone and make cold calling, because everybody I talk to hates cold calling. I think you found out a very unique way to actually have them come to you instead you go to them. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. In the last couple of years, I've generated over 10,000 leads, and I've never made a cold call. Not one.
Wow.
And I don't think anyone should make a cold call, because a cold call is a waste of your time, and it's an interruption to their time, and it adds no value whatsoever. So my success is not it used to be about cold calling, but I very quickly figured out that there was better ways to do it. So the goal is you need to, again, this comes down to step one, knowing your customer. Where do they hang out online? For example, like which LinkedIn group is the most active for your specific customer, because there's thousands of LinkedIn groups, or which discussion forum, or what phrases in Google are they searching for? There's lots and lots of different ways, but you need to know your customer. And then, or you can just, contact them directly via their website. There's any number of ways that you can do this, but you do it via email to begin with, and you don't try and sell them something. You want to educate them first. So where I've had all my success is I will put up a landing page that maybe it shows like, their mobile phone doesn't good, or maybe it's an invitation to a webinar or whatever. But the point is, it's a landing page that deals with one problem and has one call to action. So I send someone an email, or I put a posting in a LinkedIn group, or whatever I do, some people are going to come and they're going to check out that landing page. And I split test all my landing pages. So I know, for example, on Bright Ideas, 64% of the people that come to brightideas.co, they give me their email address. And then I mentioned I have that YouTube video that gets viewed a bunch of times, like thousands of times every day. I get like 20 leads a day from that YouTube video alone. But it's not the YouTube video that necessarily causes them to do the lead. It's the landing page.
Okay.
So the key to not making cold calls is to offer up and educate, to either point out something that is very specific to that, so they can tell, they're like, wow, this is like for me specifically. So a customized landing page, Or if you're not going to be that customized, offering them an educational experience. A webinar is a great example of that. And if you, especially how you title your webinar, you know, like the 5 biggest marketing mistakes that small business or that that Mexican restaurant owners make. Like, you want to be really specific. The more specific you are, the higher the conversion rate you'll have.
Okay.
And then people are going to give you their email address and they're going to come to your webinar. And now you have the opportunity to use what I call education-based marketing.
Okay.
And again, this ties back so importantly to knowing your customer. If you don't know your customer, it's very difficult to produce an educational experience that will be highly relevant to who that customer is. So now I've reached out to you. You've come to my landing page. You've thought, hey, I want to come to that webinar. You know, it's free, no big deal. I'll give them my email address. I'll sign up. Now I got your email address. You come to my webinar and I give you high quality education. I talk about industry data. I talk about the increase of use of mobile. I talk about optimization and all these things. And you're kind of going, yeah, this makes sense. What am I doing? It's like a balloon. I'm blowing it bigger and bigger and bigger so that you're seeing that, wow, this is actually kind of a big problem. And now you're starting to think that maybe I want to get a solution to this problem. But because I'm the guy educating you, I am building 2 things: trust and credibility. Rapport is the byproduct of those 2 things.
Okay.
But if you don't trust me and you don't see me as being credible, well, you're never going to buy from me.
Exactly.
So this is why cold calls don't work, because I call you up and I say more or less, hey, my name's Bob, buy my stuff. Well, you don't know who I am. You don't trust me. You didn't come looking for me. I don't have any credibility. So you're kind of like, get away from me, hang up.
Right.
But if you use a webinar to educate, or an email sequence, or a series of videos, or whatever it is, like I have a new lead magnet I'm just testing right now called Conversion Tactics Toolkit, and it's a 4-part video series. So people see me, my face, my voice talking. That helps them to trust me, as they can see me before they ever think, well, I might want to buy this guy's stuff. But I use the phone. But the only time I use the phone now is people say, can you call me?
Okay.
And then when I call them, this is how they answer the phone. They're like, oh, hey, Trent, cool, nice, thanks very much for calling. That's not a cold call.
Yeah, that's a warm hot call.
That's a warm call. That's easy. Anybody can make those calls.
They're waiting to hear from me.
Everybody I call is waiting to hear from me.
Exactly. That's the best call ever. And let me ask you one step further on that method. And I think a lot of people are I want to say being like selfish, or trying to hold something back. They're like, well, what if I give out all the free information away? Why do they still need me? Like, you know, like Evan Pagan said, moving the free line is actually much better than, you know, you held back the information. So if someone who's listening to is in that kind of mindset, what would you say to them?
Wrong mindset. And here's why. You need to give your best stuff away for free, because you're trying to make, what I said before, a first impression. Mm-hmm. And having been a small business owner with 12 employees, I can tell you I was very busy. And even if in your free webinar you explained to me exactly how to do whatever it was, I don't have any time.
Right.
But if I watched you in your webinar and it was a good, high quality educational experience, and then at the end of the webinar you made me an offer, well, now I've listened to you for an hour. I probably have some trust in you. You probably have established some credibility. And if you make me a compelling offer at the end, I know I have a problem, and I also know I don't have time to solve the problem, even though you just showed me how. But if you say you're going to do it for me and it's only $500, I'm like, I'm doing $2 million a year. I can afford the $500. Yeah, why don't you go fix that for me? Thank you very much, because I don't have the time.
Okay.
And this is, I think, what a lot of new people don't understand. They think $500 is a lot of money. I used to spend like 20 grand a year just to go to mastermind groups.
Right.
Small business owners, they have money. I mean, they have money. They don't have time. That's the problem.
Exactly. And they're also looking for the return on the investment, because that 20
yes.
probably generate $1 million.
Correct. But and that's why the education, when I say education-based marketing, that's why it's so important, because you're painting that picture for them all the way along.
Mm-hmm. That totally makes sense. And so let's talk about this awesome products of yours. What I really like about it is something you currently use and literally generate 10,000 leads already. So let's mention the product name, what time is it launched, and who's going to be really, really benefit for. And let's talk about the front end offer, what exactly they're going to expecting to receiving there.
Sure. The product is called the MobiLead Method, and it's a play on the words mobile and a play on the word lead, MobiLead Method. And the front end product is a 38-page long PDF with quite a few videos in it. So there's links to all these videos that I have recorded that break the process down into actually like there's 10 steps. So I should probably pull it up in front of me because I just want to walk through it.
Sure.
Bear with me a half a second.
Okay.
Course material. Okay. So section number 1, picking a niche to target. All throughout this interview, I've talked about how important it is to understand your customer and to pick a niche, because you need to make sure that your message really resonates with that niche. So don't try, they try and be something to everybody.
Yeah. That's big.
And you end up being something to nobody. Or nothing to nobody. You really want to, so I teach, how to pick the niche, how to do the research. The next thing is building a list of buyers. Big mistake that people make is they don't say, I am going to just target these 250 people and I'm going to stay in touch with them over and over and over and build rapport and because there's a science to this whole how many times you contact people, how much time between those times, the different ways you contact people. I mean, this is not just throwing a bunch of crap against the wall. There's companies that have studied this extensively and studied conversion rates. And if you follow a certain sequence, your conversion rates are going to go up exponentially. And I'll get to that in step 3.
Wow.
But step number 2 is you need to have a finite list of buyers. So I talk about the importance of that concept. Then you want to create a power statement. So when someone says, hey, what do you do? If you're just kind of like blah, 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 you haven't got it really figured out what you're going to do, it's not compelling enough. So the power statement is not something necessarily that you say, but you do write this document out and you're going to use pieces of it in your email and on your landing pages and in your voicemail messages, because it's the stuff that has been carefully crafted to have persuasion and to hit the salient points for that market that you picked in the beginning.
Okay.
So the next thing is the 5-step buyer sequence. So that's when I talked about there's a science to getting through to somebody. And so I walk you through exactly how to do that step by step. I talk about webinars, how to use them, why they're important, how to optimize them. And I talk about how to qualify your buyers. There's 5 different ways to qualify a buyer, because there are people that will waste your time and you don't want to deal with those people. And there are people who are anxious to hear from you and anxious to buy, and you want to make sure that you're focusing on the right people. Then we talk about, how you actually get the customer to say yes, how you deliver the services. I got a couple different ways that you can easily deliver a new website to them very, very quickly. And then I have a module devoted to outsourcing so that you can get other low-cost people working for you. So I have, for example, virtual assistants in the Philippines for $4 or $5 an hour that have been working for me for years. And I get them to do like the legwork, the research, the grunt stuff that's boring and time-consuming, and it doesn't require my expertise to do.
While you go hiking, right?
While I go hiking, like I did today, yeah. And then step 10 is what I call igniting mega results, and that's where we expose you to another concept of how you can start generating leads for your customers. Then they're really going to love you.
What was that last one? I'm sorry.
Igniting mega results is what I've called it.
Okay.
So once you've got your foot in the door and you've got them a new website, wouldn't it be nice to have customers paying you a monthly fee?
Exactly.
That you didn't have to do anything for?
Yeah, exactly. I would like that. Residual.
That's what we cover in step 10.
Awesome. So that is the front offer. What is the price point for that?
I'm pretty sure that Chris, my JV manager, is starting that off at $7. I think it'll be on a $7 to $9 dime sale.
Oh wow.
somewhere in there.
That's no brainer, guys. Go grab it. And how long are you gonna keep this offer open?
Only 1 week.
7 days.
Yeah.
And
this product, by the way, under a different name, normally sells for like $100.
oh wow. And let's talk about the OTO now. I think a lot of people are going to be really interested at this, and so I think you do have 2 of them. So let's kind of run over them as well.
Sure. So the first OTO is called the Prospecting Power Pack. So do you remember earlier when I kept talking about the importance of education-based marketing?
Uh-huh.
Well, in order to do that, you need all the educational marketing collateral. So this is presentations, videos, stuff you can use on your landing page, email scripts, phone scripts that you would use for follow-up, how to conduct the sales interview when you're actually in that conversation with the customer. There's tools in there to leverage your productivity, ways to train your outsourcer. All of that stuff, I mean, people could go and create that and maybe they would make good stuff, but it's going to take them a long time, especially those presentations, because you have to go out and do all the research. Where's all the data going to come from? Where's all the industry studies? And you got to find all that stuff. And I've done all of that work for you already. And if you're not someone that wants to make videos, I've done voiceovers of all the presentations. I don't mention my name or my brand or anything, so they're kind of PLR in that regard. As long as you don't mind my voice,
Right.
You can use those videos.
Right. So it's like all done for your marketing package already.
Totally.
Okay.
Yes. And then the OTO2 is a WordPress plugin. So again, I talked about the importance of landing pages and how I've generated 10,000 leads in the last couple of years. It's been landing pages. So this WordPress plugin is a fantastic tool to allow you to create an unlimited number of totally personalized landing pages. You don't need a designer. You don't need a coder. You can create them in bulk. And they're totally customized. Your buyers' names are right at the top of the page. It shows two iPhones, and they can see how crappy their website looks in one iPhone. You can do a mobile optimized version of it in the other iPhone, or you can just pick an already mobile optimized version. And you can put whatever content below those 2 iPhones you like. If you want to put one of the videos that I've created in the OTO number 1, which would be a good idea, you can use that. But here's the really cool thing. So you can send the emails out right from within the plugin. You can do it one at a time, or you can do it in bulk. You could have your VA do it for you if you wanted to. But when your buyer lead gets that email and they click through and view the page, you can have your cell phone alert you right when they view the page, either via text or email, and or when they fill in their information and hit the submit button, you can make your phone go off again. And that's so important, because what have they just done? You know that they're right at that moment, they're not busy because they're looking at your stuff.
Right.
And they just made an emotional buying decision. They decided, okay, I am going to give this person my contact information. Wouldn't you want to speak to them right then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. So the plugin, in addition to making it really easy to build these wonderfully customized landing pages, it's going to alert you so that you're going to be able to just tap their phone number and say, hey, Han, it's Trent. I noticed that you just filled in your information. I thought now would be a good time to call and have a conversation with you. What about your website don't you like? Or however you want it to, and I cover in the scripts kind of how you want to start that conversation off.
Mm-hmm. Awesome stuff. I think I got everything I need to ask you here today. And before we leave here, do you have any final words of wisdom you would like to share that with us?
Absolutely, I would like to. There is a lot of ways that people are trying to make money online. And all I want to say to people is, if you choose to build a people-based, value-driven business, Google or Facebook or Twitter is never going to put you out of business. And what I mean by that, if you're trying to take advantage of short-term loopholes in the algorithm or this or that, or you're trying to, like game the system or gray hat SEO, you might make a little bit of money for a short period of time. But then when they change that algorithm, it all stops. If you ever want to build a business that can get to several $1,000,000 a year, that can last for years and years and years to come, and it's something that you're going to be proud of and want people to know that you're involved in, you need to go offline and you need to build a business that helps other businesses or other people. Now, this does not mean that, you can't run it like you run an internet business. I work out of my house. This fall, I'm getting married here at the end of this month. My fiance and I, we're going to go in a motorhome for a couple months and drive around. I'm going to run my business from the road, because you don't need to go see these people to help them, but you need to deal with people, and then they're going to give you referrals, and all sorts of good stuff starts to happen that has nothing to do with internet marketing when you start to deliver real value to small business owners. It will change your life like it did mine. I was a poor kid who grew up in a welfare family. I don't have a college education, and I sold my first business by 38 for over $1 million.
Oh, wow.
That would not have happened if I wasn't delivering real value to real people.
Wow.
So that's my piece of advice. That's what you should choose. That's where the big opportunity is, because small business owners, they suck at marketing. They need help.
They really do. They really do. Thank you, Trent, for you spent your time with us and share tons great content with us today. And for those who are still watching here, I am going to offer you guys some awesome bonus for this one as well. And just kind of look out for my email for my full review and check out my bonus tomorrow. And Trent, thank you so much again for spending your valuable time with us today and share awesome content with us. And I'm personally really looking forward to this brand new course of yours. And for those who's watching this, go grab that $7-9. I mean, you can probably skip a lunch and grab this one. It's gonna probably have a lot of potential for you to make a lot of money with this. So again, Trent, I guess I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Ann. Thank you very much for taking the time to have me on the show.
All right. Thank you, Trent. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, it's Trent Dyrsmid here in my home office, and in this short video, I want to take a few minutes to do two things. Number one is I want to explain to you what I think is by far the very best opportunity available to you to become a successful entrepreneur, and if you want to even build a meaningfully sized company. And number two is I want to tell you my own personal story of how I did that and why I think you might want to check out some of the ideas that I'm going to share with you in this video. So back in 2001, I started a company that sold IT services to small business. It's called Durand Systems. And in 2007 and 2008, my company was ranked as one of the Profit 100 fastest growing companies in Canada. I won, I guess you could say I won this little award here. I was named as one of the top 40 under 40 business people in the city of Vancouver, where I'm originally from. And let me tell you, it was pretty cool to be recognized and be among a group of very successful entrepreneurs like that. In 2008, I sold the company for just shy of $1.2 million. I was 38 years of age, and that was more money than I'd ever seen in my life. And it really obviously changed my life in a dramatic way, both my lifestyle and the opportunities that were available to me. So why should you care about all that? Well, if you choose to pursue the opportunity that I'm about to explain to you, you're going to be putting yourself in a position to be able to do the very same thing. When you're trying to make money online and you're trying to become an entrepreneur, you have lots and lots of choices. Some people try and take advantage of loopholes in Google. Some people look to Facebook to get all sorts of traffic. Some people want to figure out how they can use Pinterest or YouTube or what have you. And some of those things, they might work for a short period of time, but the big risk when you build a business that's dependent upon one other entity like Google is if they change their algorithm, you can be put out of business overnight. And that's why I don't think that's the best way to build a sustainable business. So if you want to build a sustainable business, selling marketing services to small businesses in the town that you live in or in the towns that surround you or really in anywhere in North America or whatever city you live in is a huge opportunity. Number one, because it's a people-based business, and number two, because it's a value-driven business. So let me explain what I mean. Every small business wants more customers. And because of that, they need to be good at marketing and they need to be good at sales. Sadly, many of those small business owners, let's say that they're a restaurant, well, then maybe they're really, really good at cooking food, but they kind of suck at marketing. Or maybe they're an accountant and they're really good at doing taxes, but again, they suck at marketing. If you look around and you just do searches look at the websites of businesses, small businesses in your town or any town in any niche, you'll find that one theme is pretty common. They all don't do a very good job of marketing. And that means huge opportunity for you. So the challenge there is, how do you get your foot in the door? Because, you need to begin that relationship somewhere. So back in 2001, when I started my company, we just started calling companies up and asking them questions about their IT problems, and eventually we were able to get meetings and so forth. It was kind of a labor-intensive way to do it. I would liken it to chopping down trees with a dull saw. Well, now, thanks to technology and the web and online marketing and the things that I'm going to be sharing with you, getting in the door is a whole lot easier. For example, you all know that use of mobile, iPhone, smartphones, tablets, the popularity of this stuff going through the roof. And there's a lot of people out there, most small businesses, as a matter of fact, their websites do not display properly on a mobile device, or in many, many cases, if they use Flash in particular, those websites, they don't display at all. And so that means a huge opportunity for you, because they're going to need to upgrade the websites. In the MobiLead method, I lay out for you a step-by-step example of how to find all the very best buyers, the people that are desperately in need of a mobile-friendly website. And when you begin that conversation with those people, and I'm not talking about cold calling anybody or anything like that, you can do this all from the comfort of your own home with email and whatever other form of communication you'd like to use, but predominantly I suggest you use email to get it started. But these people, they really, really need your help, and they don't know half of them aren't even aware of the fact that they have a problem. But here's the really great thing. So you get your foot in the door, you get that conversation begun, and in the course I teach you even how to deliver them a whole new website. There's a couple of different ways that you can do it. But my point is this: now you have a client, and that client likes you and trusts you. So you've just delivered to them a new website. Well, what about blogging? What about social media management? What about email marketing and marketing automation and all of the things that business needs to be able to do to grow? As a marketing services professional, whether you remain a one-man marketing consultant or you build your own marketing agency, you have now become the trusted advisor to that business. And what that means is repeat business. You can get them on monthly retainer fees so that you're doing a set amount of deliverables for them month after month after month. And to be honest with you, that's why my old company was so valuable. Our customers would pay us a flat fee every month to deliver a set amount of services. And over time, those monthly fees, boy, oh boy, they added up. When I sold the company, we had $80,000 a month coming in on the first day of every month. Now, we would almost always do about another $60,000 to $80,000 in additional revenue to those customers because they needed upgrade projects and they needed hardware and software and so forth. So we ended up becoming a very, very successful firm, and our clients, the retention was really fantastic. They never went anywhere else because they were paying us that monthly fee. But you know how it all started? And because of that, by the way, that's why I was able to sell that business for $1.2 million. But it all started because we got our foot in the door. We built trust and we built credibility through having intelligent conversations, and we positioned ourselves as the trusted advisor. Had Google and Facebook and Twitter and all the things that are so popular today been around back then, and they wanted to change their algorithms or change their APIs or terms of service or whatever, it wouldn't have made any difference to our business. Our customers would have still been our customers. And that $80,000 a month that was coming in, it was going to come in month after month after month. Because here's another great secret about selling services to small businesses. People hate change. So once they become your customer, once you've become that trusted advisor, they're going to, unless you really, really screw up, they're going to be with you for years and years and years. So just think about that. Get somebody paying you $300 a month. Get 10 people paying you $300 a month, then 15 people, then 20 people, then 30 people, then 40 people. That income just compounds and compounds and compounds. And if you do that long enough and you're intelligent, then it's going to be your name on a sign or an award like this. And then maybe one day you're making a video where you're talking about how you sold your company for $1.2 million. What I can tell you for sure is if you continue to look for loopholes and short-term get-rich-quick schemes, ways to make a quick buck here and a quick buck there, you're never going to build a sustainable business. Your entrepreneurial journey is going to continue to be exceedingly rocky. You'll never win any awards like this, and it's going to be far, far, far more difficult, if not outright impossible, for you to build any life-changing wealth so that you can have a lifestyle that other people can't have. There's an expression that I love. If I do what others are unwilling to do for now, I will be able to do what others are unable to do for later and later and later. So in the MobiLead method, I am going to teach you precisely how to get your foot in the door to sell marketing services to those local small businesses that desperately need your help. So I invite you, come join me in the MobiLead method. Take the first steps to really making a meaningful difference in your life, becoming a successful entrepreneur with a people-based, value-driven, and long-term sustainable business.